first Monday in July, coming off of the holiday. I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July. I know mine was wonderful, but I know that I was like, I need to get back on track. So, I was thinking about this call tonight, and I was talking to my friend Val. And so Val and I have very similar goals. We run things very similar. We were trained by the same mentor coach. And the one thing that she does a lot differently than me is she's very brazen about how she recruits and how she talks and how she mentors, where I tend to be more blue and I tend to kind of take a little bit of a step back. So Val is going to be giving you some of her top tips tonight for how she's really running her successful business and how she leads with confidence, which is something that so many coaches sometimes struggle with. So she's going to be on tonight. But I want to go over a couple of details with you as well, just about things that are coming up. So if you're going to Summit, just a reminder to make sure that you have the app that's available. If you are also going to be at Summit and on Thursday, make sure that you have your Recipe for Success ticket. If not, I will get you the link. So if you can't go to Summit, or if you are going to Summit and you just don't have this information yet, please know that Super Saturday is scheduled for the 25th of July. So what is Super Saturday? Well, Super Saturday is the event that is held quarterly all across the country, where corporate has a presentation that they've created and they've put together for every coach throughout the country. And at these events, that presentation is given. It's about 30 minutes long, but on top of that, there's usually like a workout or a training, or sometimes they'll have corporate representation, or they'll have trainings. If you're in the Baltimore area, I know Jen Sincero, the author of You Are a Badass, is actually going to be at their Super Saturday. At our Super Saturday in Pittsburgh, we're going to have a really cool size workout. So Cam Niskatch, who is a 10-star diamond coach, he's not in our organization, but very successful coach. She's actually a master trainer and is already a master trainer of Size, the new workout that has yet to be released. She is actually doing a huge workout on Super Saturday. So I don't know if you're in Pittsburgh. If you're not in Pittsburgh and you don't know where to find the event, you just have to go to Coach Online Office under News and Training, and then click on Events, and they have an entire index for you to select which Super Saturday is closest to you. And it's just one of those things that we all do. It's so important to kind of get that like connection and network with other people who are in your area. And Super Saturday just allows for that. So if you haven't checked that out yet and you haven't checked out where it is in your area, make sure that you do that. Okay, so one thing that I need to have a little blip on your radar is what we call the Team Cup, which is coming up in July. If you are a newer coach and you're not sure what this is basically a team of 5 coaches that are put together. You register a team. Only 1 diamond is allowed per team. And the goal ultimately of the Team Cup is to help each person on that business work closely as a small group, yet grow and change their business. So every Team Cup, there is explosive growth in the organization because you are just driving one another to push and to reach your goals. So be on the lookout for that registration. If you are interested in being on a team, make sure that you reach out to your upline so that they can make sure that you're put on a team and that you're part of a team, because it's an amazing, amazing opportunity, something that I know that I am looking forward to for sure. So more details will come on that as well. Reminder that 21 Day Fix, 21 Day Fix Extreme are your challenge pack sales for the month. And the Fixate Cookbook is coming out on July 14th. So I know that I am personally going to be giving some of my challengers, anyone who purchases a challenge pack with me in the next 2 weeks is going to get that free cookbook. Some of my newer coaches who hit Success Club last month, they also are going to be getting the Fix8 cookbook. So it's a great selling point. It's going to be an awesome thing for your challengers to have, as well as your coaches in your organization too. So I'm excited for that. Okay, this is what I really needed to talk to you guys about, because there's going to be lots of questions about this. A couple of the Diamond coaches already know about it. So I don't know. This was probably about 2 weeks ago. I was having a conversation with a couple people, and it felt like we were getting lost in the news feed where people were asking people to sweat for people. So I'm going to be honest, we've just kind of become that team that sweats for other people, right? We just kind of are synonymous with Every Sweat Matters. People know the Knockout Brigade as that team that sweats for other people, that are sweating for something bigger. And a lot of that does go back to when the coaches in the organization were sweating for me when I could not. And so now it's just kind of become known that we do that. However, there really hasn't been a system of organization for how we can sweat for people, how we can let them know what we're doing. So this is what my friend Sarah, who's a coach on the team, I don't think she's on the call because she is on vacation this week. She came up with the idea of creating a Google calendar. And in the Google calendar, all you need to do is go in, and on any given date, you write down the name of the person that you want to sweat for. And then when you click edit that person, you can say like a small description about why you're sweating for them. You know, if it's a diagnosis, if it's in memory of someone, or if it's just somebody who is just struggling emotionally, or maybe even somebody who just achieved an amazing goal, you know, like they lost 20 pounds, or they, you know, finished their first challenge group, and you want the KB to stand behind that, and you want them to be a part of celebrating that success. There's a couple things it does. You know, it not only makes that person feel amazing when they know that other people are, you know, in their corner and that they're helping them out, but people start to say, like, what is this thing that you're doing? You know, what is this sweating for somebody else? And it's a great opportunity for you to have a daily post every day, and for you to really get the word out about what a team is and what team culture is, and why not sweat for something bigger. So I'm just going to real quick show you what that Google Calendar looks like, if I can find it. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Google Calendar. And so what you will see here is when you click on the link, and I've put it in the KB and I've put it in my personally sponsored page, but when you click on the link, the Sweat for Something Bigger calendar is brown. And you have, if you have Google, you have calendars already set up. You can choose to look at this calendar on its own under the settings. So when you click on someone, it will say like who you're sweating for. And then when you click like edit the event, there's a description of what you're sweating for, who you're sweating for. So when you look at it, you can find out, okay, well, tomorrow we're sweating for this Alyssa girl. She's undergoing treatment for breast cancer, and today is treatment number 8 of 12. So you know that the next day, so when you wake up in the morning and you go into your calendar, you're going to be sweating for this girl. And so when you go into your Facebook page and you are getting ready, I'm trying to like, hold on one second. I have too many things open. So when you are getting ready to sweat that morning, you would then tag the person that hosted that person. And then that person could go through and tag the person you're sweating for if you're not friends with them. So it's a great way for you to sweat for something bigger, and know that you're part of something bigger, and it's not just about you. So this is such a side note, and then I'm going to get into Val's part of the call, but I was randomly reading today, Leanne Ruff, she was a past trainer in our organization, and she's since left, and she sells, I believe, skincare now. I'm not really sure of what the company is. But one of the things that she posted today was about when you're getting into your audience and you're talking to your audience, how many times do you use the word me? Join my challenge group. I've lost this much weight. This is what I'm doing. This is how much money I've made, or whatever the focus is. Shift it, and it's okay to talk about yourself sometimes, but give yourself like the thought of, well, how does this connect to somebody else? So if you're less focused on me and you're more focused on other people and other people's needs, like what can my challenge group give to somebody else? What can it provide to somebody else? And asking your audience questions and letting them know and getting them engaged. This is what does that. When people see that you're sweating for someone else, they automatically are like, oh, she's not trying to just sell me something. She's obviously part of something bigger. She's part of a bigger culture. So Taylor, you were kind of invested in this part of the sweat calendar. Do you have anything to add to this calendar, or anything I missed majorly?
No, just make sure that if you want us to sweat for people, you put it in there, because I feel really bad and get really weirdly emotional when I miss it.
Yeah.
So bad people. Thanks. Bye.
Yep, I would say the same thing too. So absolutely, we're going to start sweating for something bigger. Tomorrow it's Alyssa Saradelli. If you want to tag me, I'm the one that sponsored it. And then if you go through, you start writing down people's names, or if you want to be sweating for your challengers or whoever it might be, this is a great opportunity to do that. So the more we talk about it, the more we get it out there in the KB for people who aren't on the call, the better. So without further ado, I am ready to introduce my friend Val. So Val is from Mississippi. She is actually from outside of Pittsburgh, I believe. But her husband is leaving on deployment in 2 weeks. It's soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's soon. Anywhere from like next week to the end of the month. We just realized it today. It was like, oh my gosh, like this is happening. Yeah.
So he's a no-go for Summit. Is that correct?
Nope, they won't approve him to go any further than here.
No.
I know.
All right. Well, Val, thank you so much for being a part of the call tonight. We are honored to have you here this evening. So we are ready to get started, and we can't wait to hear what you have to say. So it is all you. Take it away.
Super cool. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm just honored to be on the call. And yeah, like Katie said, so I'm originally from right outside of Pittsburgh. My husband is stationed down here in Gulfport, Mississippi. So this is where we live. We've lived here for the last 3 years. I have 2 little girls. Lola is 8 and Maddie is 5. And I really have built my business amongst deployments, crazy changes of moving across the country. I've gone through thyroid surgery where I had my thyroid removed. So, people will sometimes look at my Facebook page now, or they see the now. Everyone does this. I know I was a culprit whenever I first became a coach, and you can get wrapped up in that comparison, which I'm going to go into a little bit later in my call, or in this call. But really just focusing on where we come from. So for me, I started my journey with Beachbody in 2007, which is crazy, hard to believe. Right after my first daughter was born, my husband saw this infomercial for P90X, and he's like, it's gotta work. It's on an infomercial, right? And I was like, we just had a baby. You are not going to buy that expensive program. No way. So sure enough, like a week later, it showed up on our doorstep because it was right around Father's Day. So he called his mom and asked for it for Father's Day, for a Father's Day present. So that's how we ended up with our very first Beachbody program. I agreed to do it with him, and I was like, okay, this really does work. But ironically enough, I ordered almost every Beachbody program since then up until I started coaching 2 years ago, and I never knew anything about the coaching opportunity, ever. Never contacted by a coach. I just loved Beachbody. So right around the time that I had got a random Facebook invitation from someone, I was going through one of the deepest depressions of my entire life. So it's 3.5 years ago now, that I woke up one day, and I'm normally happy-go-lucky myself, and I woke up and I felt like the definition of schizophrenic. Like, I honestly looked it up because I thought that, like, I had it. I didn't know how you, like, get this, but I honestly thought I was legitimately crazy. And it was so scary. My resting heart rate was like 120, and I would scratch my skin just like for an itch, and I would start bleeding. All of these crazy, crazy symptoms. My hair was falling out, and I went to the doctor, and they're like, you're just depressed, so here's some medicine, go on this. So I start taking this, and it made it worse. And all of these crazy things just kept happening. I ended up going to the doctor like every week, because I'm like, there's something wrong, you're missing it. They kept sending me away. Well, one day, a couple months after that, I was looking in the mirror, and I noticed a lump on my throat. And I was like, that's it. Like, I knew there was something wrong, but I didn't know what it was. I just had myself convinced that I was just dying. Like, that's the truth. That was what it was 3.5 years ago. So I went, and they're like, oh, it's a thyroid nodule. You'll be fine. They did a biopsy. Long story short, the biopsy came back where it was 85% chance that it was cancerous. So they decided 3 days before Christmas that year to remove my thyroid completely. And then they prepared me to go on some radiation and stuff like that, because they're like, it probably is cancer. We're pretty sure it is. So that was 3 days before Christmas. And my husband was moving down here to Gulfport, Mississippi 3 days after Christmas. And we still had a house that had not sold in Pittsburgh. I was alone with my kids. I felt abandoned. I felt alone. And there was no way for him to stay back with me. So I knew, okay, I was going to go into surgery. I was going to do this. My parents were super supportive, and they were awesome. So they were there with me. So I went in, and I had my surgery, and everything was removed. So kind of the turning point of my story was the doctor had told me that the results wouldn't come back for about 10 days. And I was sitting on my couch about 4 days after my surgery. I was at my parents' house, I'm sorry. So it was their couch. And it was a Thursday night, and I remember the exact moment. And I was just sitting there, and I just started sobbing, and I was praying to God. I was like, God, I know I have a purpose, and I know, like, there's just more to my life. And I promise that if this is not cancer, if you just help me through this, I promise you, like, I will find the purpose that you have me on this earth for, and I will live it. I will do it through you. And that next morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, my cell phone rang, and it was my doctor. And she said, now you are one of the 15%. It's not cancerous. So I hit my knees, and I just said, okay, this is my path. This is my journey. So it was about then that next year that it was trial and error, because thyroid controls like your whole body and your whole system. And I didn't realize that. And you have to have a thyroid to survive or take thyroid medicine. So it was like in that year time frame that the doctors were like tweaking the dosage and all this. So I still felt crappy, but I was determined to find my purpose in life. So I felt like I was still sliding, though. Over that next year, we moved down here to Gulfport. We built our house. And amongst that time, my husband had deployed. So my kids and I got down here, and my husband had to leave about 2 months after we moved, and he was gone for 7 months. And that was the time then that I was realizing how far in debt we were. You see those monthly payments of stuff, we're like, oh, our house payment's only X amount of dollars. We can afford that. Our car payments are only X amount of dollars each month. We can afford that. Well, we were stupid. And to be honest, moving is expensive in itself. So we were just like, I'm like trying to deal with this on my own as he's gone. And it all boiled down to just like rock bottom. And then something happened. I got this random email from this girl about Beachbody coaching when I had started dusting myself back off, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to do my turbo fire again. I'm going to try out this clean eating. So I was like, all right, what is this all about? because it has to be a scam. It's too good to be true, right? So I start applying for teaching positions around here, some substitute teaching positions, because I had to get a job. We were broke. My husband's gone, and I had to do this. So this girl emailed me again, and she's like, well, you're military, so you could sign up for free and get a military discount. What do you have to lose? So I prayed about it, and I felt like this was God, like really saying, this is your time. Let's do this. So I signed up because I got the free discount, and I did not sign up with a challenge pack. I was one of those people that's like, nah, I can't afford it. And then I kind of pretended like I used Shakeology for the first 3 weeks of my business. I was that girl. I'm like, oh, Shakeology is great. As I'm messaging people, I had never even tried it before. I had only ever done the workouts. So I kind of, the first 2 months of my business, I tried, quote unquote. And then finally I listened in on a call, a Monday Night Dream Team call. And it was like, God was like shaking me as Melanie Mitro spoke. And I remember her line, and she said, I'm a mom of two, from a small town in Pennsylvania, and I have done this. Why not you? Why can't you do this? And I was like, yeah, why not me? Like, I signed up to do this. She's doing this. All these other amazing people who were like celebrities, Katie was like, I was like, oh my gosh, like all these cool people. And I just did it. Like a switch clicked. So this is kind of where I'm going to go into the meat of my call. It's the mentality. It's a no excuses attitude. It's ditching the past. It's using your past really to make it your story. Because had someone told me 2 years ago that I would be speaking on conference calls like this, that I would speak at all in front of people, I would have been like, no, I'm a total introvert. Had people told me that this would be what my life would look like, I would have been like, no, that's not me. So I just started to gradually change myself. And I'm going to tell you guys, whenever I heard personal development, didn't even know what that meant. I know that sounds crazy, and I used to be so embarrassed to say that, but I'm like, what is a personal development book? So I just decided. I started with the Compound Effect, and then I went to the Slight Edge, and then I started listening to playbacks of the National Wake Up Call, and I just did it. So finally, my first month in the business was May of 2013, and I got at Success Club 8. But that was because I bribed all of my friends who knew that I had done Beachbody programs before to buy a program for me. And that was how I started. It wasn't actual inviting and forming relationships. I just begged them. So then my second month, I really did do the inviting, and I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and I was sending out like 10 to 15 invites a day, maybe more. I got Success Club 2 in the month of June. I felt defeated. I thought to myself a little bit. I was like, maybe this isn't for me. I didn't hit Success Club. But then the sooner those thoughts entered my mind, that was whenever the switch, it clicked again. And I was like, no, I'm grateful for every step that I'm taking. I'm grateful for that $40 or $50 commission check, because that helped put food on the table for my family. So I said, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I will not allow myself to give a pity party. So then that next month of July, it was a cup challenge. And that triggered my memory when Katie was talking about the cup challenge this month. And I got put on this cup challenge team with a bunch of amazing women. And I had never met them before. But in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm not going to let them down. This is a team effort. Like, I am going all in for this. And I did it. I read through the Forming Relationships. I talked to people at the store. So this too, guys, like, I would never go to Walmart and like randomly talk to somebody ever. But that month of July in 2013, every time I went to the store, I made myself talk to at least one person, even if it was in the grocery line. I would stalk like women in workout clothes or women with kids. So I'd have something to strike up a conversation about. So generally I'd be like, oh my gosh, your little girl is so cute. Where'd you get her outfit? Because I always have my kids with me. So it was just kind of an easy in. And it would strike up a quick conversation, and I would add them to Facebook right there on the spot. And I, to this day, after 2 years of doing this, have yet to find someone who is not on Facebook. So that's how popular Facebook is. So I'm just like, hey, maybe we can get together for a park play date or something. Are you on Facebook? I'm in a hurry. I'd love to connect. They've all given me their Facebook information. So a lot of them have become challengers and coaches with me. So don't be afraid to start stepping outside of your comfort zone in that aspect. So then that month of July, I ended the month, I think it was like Success Club 23 or something like that. And I was like, okay, I know I can do this. It just gave me the confidence. I started to build my confidence because I went so far out of my comfort zone that it started to click and it started to work. And I was faking it until I made it. If I didn't know the answer to a question, I was Googling it or messaging someone that would know the answer so I could get back to these people. And I worked smart and I worked long hours, but I did it to prove to myself and to my family that this can work. This is my thing. And I feel like God was just paving the way for me, like just signs everywhere. So then that was July. So like I said, and then from that month on, I told myself, okay, Success Club to me literally means that if I would not hit Success Club, then my family would not be able to eat. Or like my family's lives, my kids, my husband, their lives depend on me making that goal. And some people think I am beyond crazy for taking it to that extreme. But for me, that's where my confidence has come from, is by that one little thing that I have it written on a sticky note every single month. And my goal is always, I've never missed Success Club since because I know it's non-negotiable. So if that helps any of you, you know, knowing that even if you miss it 1 month, I didn't make it in June of my first year. That's okay. It doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means, you know, figure it out, work harder, work smarter, and keep going. I really just decided too that I had to change into the person that deserved to reach the goals that I had set. You know, so for me, it was my family, my finances. Like we were putting groceries on credit cards whenever I started this business. So that first month, I think I made like $300 my very first month of May. And that was like the biggest blessing. And then like that $40 in June. So July, the paychecks just started going up. And I couldn't even believe that this is what I was creating. So staying humble has been my main focus throughout these last 2 years. It's one step forward every single day and just not allowing myself to let excuses get in the way. Really, it's just non-negotiable to work my business. I talk to my team a lot too about comparing. So comparison, because I'm always saying, you know, put your blinders on. You hear that all the time. Put your blinders on. Don't worry about anybody around you. And I completely agree with that to a certain extent. But today I was listening to some personal development and something really struck me because what I was listening to, he was like, you have to have comparison to get ahead. And I was like, yeah, I guess maybe we do. So it's kind of a comparison do and don't. You don't want to compare your audiences. You don't want to compare yourself to, you know, so-and-so has 2,000 or 3,000 Facebook friends and I only have 1,000. So that's why she's doing better than me. Or so-and-so, you know, has a bigger market or kind of that avenue. Don't ever compare yourself to that because that has nothing to do with it. You know, compare your work ethic. Compare what you're doing with yourself and inside your business to see kind of where you're going to get yourself ahead in that aspect. So that's what I'll do. Like I'll look at some other coaches, you know, Facebook pages or whatever, just to kind of quote unquote compare to, I don't know, get a general idea of if I'm doing what I should be doing in the aspect of sharing versus selling and all of that. So that was like my main go-to as well as I started progressing in my business. And I went diamond in like, I think it was like 5 months that I went diamond. And it's a decision. Like this business is a decision, that confidence and recruiting coaches. So this is my style. So once I decided, I was like, oh wait, diamond really is a decision. I took all of my customers that I had and I was like, why don't I just sign them up as coaches right off the bat? Like, what's the difference? There really isn't one. They can cancel their coaching account just as easily as they call and cancel their Shakeology home direct order. So why not start building my business? Because I have the vision. I have the long-term growth like in my head. I know where I'm going. So I would miss out on, maybe $30 commission every month on Shakeology if it meant building my team to be a little bit bigger or having people fall in love with Shakeology. And one of my main lines is always, hey, I'm willing to forfeit my commission for you to get you a discount in the following months on your Shakeology, because I know that your health is so important and I can't wait for you to figure that out as you go on your journey. So that's what I started doing, and it works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. I don't ever feel like it's, a scamming people or whatever. I've had that question brought up too, because again, they can cancel it at any time. I feel like I'm doing them a favor. So I'm very confident in my approach with people, and it works for me. So, I feel like confidence is contagious too. Like the more confident you are, it kind of like rubs off on your team, on your business, and it shows. You have to really just keep moving forward. So I recruit. My goal each month is like 10 to 15 coaches, and that's just even challengers. So I never like differentiate, because I always look at every single person that I sign up as a potential business runner. I take myself, for instance. Like, I didn't know anything about the business before I signed up. And as I did sign up, I signed up for the business. So why not offer that opportunity to every single person? And maybe you'll get pushback, or maybe you'll get people who are like, I'm already financially stable. Like, I'll hear that. Or I already love my job. I'm like, yeah, that's totally fine. What is an hour a day or 6 to 7 hours a week of doing something that you love, or you'll fall in love with, if there's even a slight chance that you would want to do this for yourself, that could potentially grow an income that could put your kids through college, that could fund your retirement plan, that could leave a legacy for your children's children. Like, a lot of people don't think that far ahead. People who, I've really found this out from talking to people, because I always ask questions. I'm such a question asker. So if someone tells me no, I'm like, no, like, no what? Like, no, you don't want the business. No, you don't want a challenge pack. Like, talk to me. Let's figure this out. So I ask kind of deep questions. And a lot of people who are telling me, no, I'm financially stable. No, I like my job. It turns out a lot of them are just so much into their routine, and the financially stable, a lot of people are paycheck to paycheck. Like, they're budgeted, but they still live paycheck to paycheck. 70% of people really do live paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of my coaches at this point, after talking to them, they're like, oh my goodness, like, I guess I didn't realize that I could make an extra $500 a month. That would pay for my car note, or $500 a month into a savings account over the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. How much money that can really bring them, all by helping people in their health and fitness journey. So I really focus on helping people find a deeper why, because that was my turning point, was Melanie saying, why not you? And I asked myself that question out loud, why not me? And I started to list the reasons why, no matter what happened in this business, I was not going to give up, ever. Like, no matter how rough the road got, I looked at this as a journey. And here I am 2 years later, 25 months later. And again, like I said a little bit ago, if you would have told me that this is where I would be, I would have been like, yeah, right. Like, no way. But it's that dedication, and it's that hard work. And the reason why is because we show up. I show up every day. I show up on the days that I don't feel like it. This morning, it was a struggle to get up and work out. It was a struggle to open my computer. I was still in like vacation mode, and I'm sure every one of you can completely agree with me. But as much as I wanted to shut that alarm off, like, you know what? I treat my business as the business it is. I would not be able to call a boss in a corporate job and say, hey, I'm still recovering from the weekend. I might still be hungover. I can't come to work today. you can't do that. So I treat my business that exact same way. So I think that has been what has helped me grow, because I don't just shut it down or shut it off because I don't feel like doing it. And I look at it as every single person that I talk to, every single invite that I send out, every coach who sticks with me, and every coach or challenger who falls off the bandwagon, deletes me off of Facebook, which happened to me this weekend, by the way, like just a new coach. I went to find her today and she had deleted me and deleted herself out of all of my groups. I guess coaching is not for her now, but it happens to all of us. I'm telling you guys this because it just happens. It's not you, it's them. But no matter what, every single person matters. You know, you guys, I love the Every Sweat Matters. I've always supported this. I love the whole idea, and this calendar is amazing. Everyone matters. Every sweat matters. So just keep going. Don't be disappointed in things that, you know, maybe don't go the way that you planned. If you don't hit a goal, my goal for what was in May, this last quarter, my goal was 13 star. I ended at 7 star. Didn't even come close. I was just devastated for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, wait, why am I doing this to myself? Everything happens for a reason. You know, these maybe mini disappointments, they show me that I'm not ready to be in the position to have met these goals yet. I'm not the person who deserves to be 13 star yet. I haven't grown that much. I have to keep growing in myself. So that's where personal development comes hand in hand. So I dig deep and I figure out who I need to grow into be. Every step counts, and just know that every step, no matter if it's a giant step, a baby step, every single step you're taking is getting you closer to your goals, no matter what. And it's a stepping stone, and it's a lesson learned the whole way. I took a few notes here. Just, let's see. And just even, I'm going back on the comparison thing. You know, the blinders are great, again, but look around, because sometimes that one post or that one person might truly inspire you. So I want you guys to wake up every day and just be inspired. Be inspired by your life. Be inspired by the day. Be inspired to be an inspiration to others. Because no matter what, no matter who you are, if you wake up every day and you're like, I want to help one person today. I've said that every single day to myself since I started this business, since I started to allow myself to believe that I truly am meant for more. One person. Don't set the expectations for your business so high that you allow the disappointment to consume you. Again, it's you just making yourself better, and you get followers, and people are attracted to you. That's just kind of that's really is the name of the game. Compare yourself to others for creativity. You know, shine your own light as you're looking around to see the light of others, because I really feel like, you know, I've been inspired by Katie. I've been inspired by Melanie. Lindsay Matway, I remember her whenever I first started. And it's that the vision that they've created. And I could see that vision. If it weren't for their stories and them sharing their stories as I was a brand new coach, that's what helped me to understand what vision really meant. So focusing on how you can create your own vision, because not every single person, you know, not everyone wants to be a top 10 coach. That's okay. You know, maybe you're here because you want to make $500 a month. That's amazing, because you're changing lives. And the more lives you change, that is a direct reflection on how much money you really will earn in your business. So, you know, just having self-awareness, being true to yourself and your own goals, and never stop setting goals. And again, whenever I first started, I had forgotten how to set goals for myself. I hadn't set goals since probably my first year or two of college. I played volleyball all through school. Like, I was good, got good grades, all this stuff. So I always had goals of being better. Well, then I just kind of stopped. And then I became a mom and a wife. And I used to say, I'm just a mom and a wife. Like, a mom and a wife is amazing. Like, that's the best job ever. But if you're like me, I lost myself along the way in the mom and wife role. So Beachbody not only has opened just a whole new world of excitement and financial stability and me being able to help like thousands of people, you know, this is just, I found myself first. So find yourself, find you, and just keep going. Have that confidence that literally you wake up and you're like, I am just going to inspire people today. I'm just going to do it. Like, that's it. So I want you to see yourself, look in the mirror, and find the beauty that every single one of you have, and let your light shine and help other people. Because inviting, personal development, working on yourself with your workouts, drinking your Shakeology, those are the basics. And every time I get the question, well, what's the secret sauce? There has to be more than the 3 vital behaviors. There really isn't. Like, that's what it is. You have to share your story. You have to invite, you have to talk to people. You have to be confident. So be grateful. Be grateful for every step. And thank you guys for having me on the call. That's really it. Anybody have any questions?
All right. Thank you, Val. All right. Do you guys have questions? You can unmute yourselves if you have questions. Please feel free to ask, because there was so much information. I know that I took some notes from a couple of things you said, because I am big on blinders. So we almost have like this different way of seeing it. But one thing you said about the blinders, and I'm actually talking about at the Dream Team Live, it was very much what you said. It's your own race, but you can't compare apples to oranges. And I love that. You said you can't compare yourself to somebody who's been in the business twice as long as you've been in the business, or somebody who is, if you're a new coach and you're comparing yourself to Lindsay Matway, there's different journeys, and there's different strengths and struggles. And it's hard to ever know your strengths when you're struggling because you aren't where that person is. So that was a very, very good point. And I just love the idea of just being inspired, just focusing on one every day. Just focus on one person every day. Yep. Cool. What else do you guys have? Other comments or questions, or what do you guys have for Val?
And you know what, so I'll just add this too, because it's that comparison thing. I'll use myself as kind of an example, because Raina Odell, I don't know if you guys follow her. She's awesome. I've followed her now basically since I first started. Well, we started like a month and a half apart after reading through her story and talking through it to her, through a couple Facebook messages or whatever. So probably like last year, I think it was, I started comparing myself to her, because she was, she had gone like 8-star diamond, and I think I was still like 2-star diamond, and people were liking her posts. Like, she'd post something about a challenge group and she'd have like 50 likes, and I'd post something about a challenge group and I'd have like 2, and one was my mom and probably like my husband. Like, it was, you focus on those likes on your picture. And finally, again, that was when I'm like, stop comparing. Her story is so much different than mine. I don't know where she's been or what she's gone through or what her story is. She's just inspiring in her own way. It's different from mine. And who knows what goes on behind the scenes? Like, you just never know. So don't belittle yourself or focus so much on someone else's success that you just get bogged down in the negatives. Like, as soon as you start feeling a negative, negatives attract negatives. You want to attract positive, uplifting people. Surround yourself with positive, uplifting people. It matters. And just stay true to you and keep going on your journey. That's it.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
All right. Taylor, so when you talk to random people at the store, how long do you let them see what you're up to on Facebook before you invite them? Do you start forming them right away, or let them soak it in a little bit first? Nope. I message them like sometimes as soon as I get in the car. I'll shoot them a quick message, and I'm like, hey, it was so nice to meet you. Usually I'll say, would you be up for sometimes a park play date? I've had a fit club. So I did do a fit club for like 6 or 8 months, I think it was, the beginning of my business. So those are really good too. If you guys do a fit club, know anybody that does one, just to kind of invite them to that fit club. So it's kind of like filtering. Or I'll just say, it was really nice to meet you, and then I'll ask them a question. I always end every single one of my conversations with a direct question, like, hey, by the way, where did you get your Nikes at? I really like them. I can't stop thinking about it. Or I really liked your headband. I use some kind of compliment, because think of you. Wouldn't you respond to someone who's like, oh my gosh, like, I loved your shirt. Where'd you get it from? I'd be like, the Nike outlet, they're on sale. Like, that's exactly what I would say. So think of it that way. And then that's kind of, then you can really start the forming.
Jenna, the question you asked earlier too about the Fixate cookbook, is it like $20? Do you know, Val?
I think it's going to be like $20. That's what I've heard.
I know it's 15 volume, but I think it's like 20 total.
Probably.
Liz, I saw that you unmuted. Did you have a question for Val?
Hi. Yeah, I did, Val. I was curious about the way you're getting your coaches. So I did that for my little diamond push. And I talked to Katie about it a little bit. I'm just not sure about, I don't know, how to feel good about it, I guess. Like, I know that you're giving them the discount and stuff, but if they want to work the business, does it hurt them to not start working the business right away? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, because there are some people who miss out on their free summit ticket because they don't hit Success Club. I do send them kind of like a welcome email, and I let them know. I use like probably 4 or 5 different paragraphs just explaining what they've got with their challenge pack. And then I don't even remember what else I have in there. I usually just copy and paste it. But I definitely explain to them exactly how they can, if they want to. I'll do a lot of times the, hey, if you refer 3, you're going to get yours free. That's a little section that I have in the email. So that way, you know what, if they get 3 people, I'm going to just send their people their coach ID. And then they're going to basically hit Success Club. They'll get some commission. And sometimes that's enough just to get the light bulb to switch for some coaches. But I will say probably 90% of them just, don't run with the business. The ones that sign up just for the challenge pack, a lot of them really do. So I think I've only had one coach maybe who's like, oh, darn it, I didn't get my Success Starters package. Most of them don't really question it.
Okay. No, that's I guess the only thing I was concerned about, if they're like missing out somehow with
that.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think of it that way, I guess. I just usually focus on the discount. And I will say too, for me, most of the time, I notice within the first 2 weeks, those people, the challengers who are really like dedicated and they've fallen in love with their program, they're posted in the challenge groups, they are on it. They are the ones who are like, I want to know how to do this. Like, I'm in love with this. And then I can get someone to Success Club, within that last 2 weeks of the month or whatever it ends up being.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. You guys have any other questions for Val? All right. So thank you, Val, so much for being on the call. We appreciate your time and awesome information and advice. And so thank you for that. And guys, the sweat calendar is open. You can edit it. Tomorrow we are sweating for Alyssa Saradelli, and she is going through chemo treatment number 8 of 12. So if you want to sweat, just tag me in it, and I will be sure to post it for her. And if you have people, I'd be, more than happy to sweat for them too. So I am very excited for that. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I am excited. We are officially on the countdown to Summit, and I hope everybody has a great, great week. All right, guys, have a good night.